So welcome back, guys. In this video we're going to look at depreciation. Alright, so depreciation is basically the opposite of interest. Opposite of interest, which is what we've been looking at in the last few videos. So the best way to show depreciation is with an example. So say for example you buy a car for €40,000 and then 2 years later you want a new car, so you decide to sell your old car and then you sell it for €32,000. Okay, so we'll say 2 years later. Yeah, that difference of 8,000. So obviously there's the value has gone down there by 8,000. That's the depreciation. Okay, so that's the depreciation. And then the official definition of it is, I'll scribble it down on the side. So it's the decrease in value. The decrease in value of something over time. Okay, of something over time. Sorry, write this out. Okay, so does that make sense? So if you waited, say, another 2, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, even further, the car would be worth even less. So there'd be more and more and more depreciation. Does that make sense? So sometimes depreciation isn't always as kind of rigid as interest. It really depends on obviously who you're selling it to, etc. But for the purpose of the maths here, we're always going to look at a formula for depreciation. So it's really, really similar. You'll recognize the formula. So it's F is equal to P by 1 minus I to the power of T. Okay, and I'm not going to say what each thing is. It's the exact same. So I'll say all the same. The only difference is that it's minus. So instead of the number getting bigger, so the F, the future value, getting bigger, this time it gets smaller because there's a minus. So we'll just say except minus. Does that make sense? So that's the difference between depreciation and between interest. So I'll just do a quick example. The questions for depreciation are always really, really similar to the questions on other bits of, like the questions we've just covered before that. So I'm only going to do one question on depreciation to show you guys, and the rest of them are the exact same method. Okay, so say we buy a car for 20,000, and then the rate of depreciation. So rate of depreciation. So obviously in real life there isn't a set rate, but this is just a maths question, so they have to give us one. Is going to be 12%. Okay, so every year it loses 12% of its value. So then the question is, how much is the car worth after 3 years? And then how much is the car worth after 10 years? Right? So 10 years. Go yellow for this. So the first one we can do here is going to be F is equal to P by 1 minus I to the power of T. So that means F is going to be equal to 20,000 by 1 minus 0.12. So that's 12% in decimal, and then to the power of 3, because that's the time. And we'll find that the value of the car after that time is €13,629. Box around that, and we're going to find out how much it's worth after 10 years. So obviously it's going to be less after 10 years. It's going to be F is equal to P by 1 minus I to the power of T. That means that F is going to be equal to 20,000 by 1 minus 0.12 to the power of 10. And we're going to find that F is equal to €5,570. So obviously after 10 years it's lost a lot of its value. And just one thing, so say if we sketch the value, okay, so how much the car is worth, and here is time in years. So say you buy it here, the first year it's going to be, I'll do a different color, I'll go red. The first year it's going to lose loads of value, and the second year and so on, but then as time goes on it kind of evens out like that. So that's just the shape of the curve. It doesn't really matter, but it's just so that you kind of understand that the first few years it loses loads of its value. Then after that it starts to lose value a little bit slower. Okay, that's just the way, because it's an exponential curve, the way it's going to go. So that like if you go from here to here, it actually doesn't lose that much value at all, even though it's a long distance of time. The same distance as here to here, where it loses loads and loads of its value. So that's just to give you guys a brief understanding, and that's the same with most cars. After a certain point they kind of just stay the same price. So yeah, that's depreciation. That's all there really is to it. There isn't too much they're going to ask you on depreciation. Yeah, and now we're going to start looking at the really hard bits of financial maths, or the harder bits anyway. In the next few videos, we're going to look at sequences and series through savings, pensions, and mortgages and stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'd recommend revising sequences and series before we move on, because it's going to get a little bit heavy. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Like and subscribe, and tell your friends about the videos. We'll see you in the next video.